Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the orientation for the 2021 South Carolina Synod Assembly. We're glad that you're able to be with us tonight, and we hope that this orientation makes you feel more comfortable with the technology we'll be using at the assembly tomorrow. Congratulations for logging into this virtual platform, for getting to the correct place. So let's go through some instructions and introductions to this virtual platform and how we use it. There will be two panels on your screen. Assuming you signed in with a laptop or desktop computer, you should now have two panels visible on your screen. The left side we will refer to as the Lumi panel. The right panel has the Zoom meeting in it. Many of you are used to using Zoom screens by now. It's where you see and hear the people that are speaking during the meeting. If you do not see the Zoom panel on the right, it may be minimized at the bottom of your screen or the right side of the screen. Look for a black bar at the bottom of the screen or the right side of your screen that says Zoom, and click on the black bar to open the Zoom panel. You may want to adjust your screen ratio to zoom out, and then you will get a split screen experience. The Lumi panel on the left is where you're going to find the tools for the business you need to conduct during our meeting. We're now going to spend a little bit of time with each of these screens. Starting with the Lumi panel on your left, you'll use the Lumi panel for four things during the assembly: general information, viewing documents, entering the speaker queue, and for voting. The information screen is the first screen you will see when you log in. The information screen is accessed by clicking on the letter I icon in the top bar of the Lumi panel. You will find the information about how to use the platform and perhaps some links to meeting materials or other pertinent information for the events for this event. On the information page, there are links to forms that you may wish to use during this assembly. Viewing the documents. Some PDF documents may be available to you. You can view them by clicking on the documents icon on the top bar of the Lumi panel. It's the icon all the way to the right that looks like sheets of paper. You're then going to see a list of documents available to you. Then select the document you would like to view and click on it. You can view it within the platform, or you can download it to your desktop if you would like to do so. So now we're going to have some hands-on practicing about voting. Let's practice that. If you have voting rights, and almost all of you will, the motion and answer choices will automatically appear before you in the Lumi panel on the left side of the screen. To submit your vote, simply click on your choice. It will be highlighted. You don't need to do anything else. Just click on your choice for your vote. There's no send button for this. You will see a confirmation message that your vote has been received just below the title of the motion. Should you wish to change your vote, you may simply select a different choice. You may do this as many times as you would like during the voting period until that vote is closed. At the time that the vote is closed, you cannot make any other choices, and only your last choice will be counted. Now let's do a practice vote. Lumi, would you open the practice vote now? You should now see the practice vote open on the left side of your screen. As I mentioned earlier, to make your selection, simply click on your choice and it will be highlighted. You will also see a confirmation text at the top for what you have voted on. If you need to change your vote, simply click another selection, or you may click the cancel button from the bottom of the screen, and then make a new selection. Let's give another 30 seconds to cast your vote. Okay, voting is closed, please. Lumi, let's see the results. Can we try to see that again?
I'm sorry, Ms. Bishop. Let's stand by for just 1 second.
You got it. All right. It looks like the South Carolina Synod is not too much into skydiving. Thank you. Now, let's do a practice election. Lumi, can you please open a practice election for us? Okay. Select your favorite superhero. Everyone with voting privileges should now see the practice election open on the left side of your screen. And the same as before, you're going to make your selection simply by clicking on your choice, and then it will be highlighted. So vote now. Okay, Lumi, can we close the vote? Let's see the results. All right, it looks like Wonder Woman has taken a grand lead in this election, and I declare her the winner. Now, if you have to select more than one candidate, and you will have to do that with our nomination process tomorrow, you're asked to click on all the candidates' names and you will see them all highlighted. So, for example, you'll receive 6 candidates for some, and we'll be electing 3. So you'll be able to elect several candidates on one ballot. Once you have made all of your selections, you must click Send in the button at the bottom for this type of voting. If you need to change your ballot, then you click Cancel. That's the button at the bottom as well. And you make your new selections, and then you press Send to submit your ballot. Let's give everyone a practice of 30 seconds to make their choices. Lumi, let's see the ballot. Select your 2 favorite cartoon characters. Ready, Assembly? Let's vote now.
Ms. Bishop, I noticed there are still quite a few that have not submitted a vote compared to our last vote. So just as a reminder, make sure that you press the send button at the bottom right-hand corner of the Lumi screen to send your vote.
Okay, they seem to be coming in now. Thank you, Brandon. Come on, everybody. Hit your send button once you've chosen your 2 characters.
Yeah. And we did have 121 voted on our last vote, so this seems to be very comparable.
Excellent. All right, Lumi, let's close the vote. And can we see the results? Oh, wonderful. Snoopy's a great character, and so is Bugs Bunny. So we give thanks for those 2 characters, as well as for the other 3 and their willingness to run in this election. Thank you, Assembly, for your votes. Remember, for those multiple votes, you do have to hit the send button to get your vote to come through. Now, let's go on to the speaker queue and do some practicing with that. Let's say that you want to ask a question or make a motion, or you would like to speak from the virtual floor. Normally, you would get up at Assembly and go to a microphone to speak, but you may be asking yourself, well, how do I do that with this platform since there's no microphone here? Here's how you do it. On the top of the menu bar of the Lumi panel, you will see the speaker queue. The icon in the center looks like a double speech bubble. When you click on that icon, there's going to be a list of choices that appear to give you options for what you want to do. And those options will include things like for, against, second, amend, call, point of order, personal privilege, question, or remove. Type that in the text box at the bottom of the screen. You might have to scroll down to see the text box at the bottom of the screen. But you would type the word that you wish to participate in the queue by putting that into the text box at the bottom. Then click the arrow on the right of that text box to submit your request to speak. If you have submitted a request to speak correctly, you will briefly see a pop-up message that says, "Received." You have now entered the speaker queue, and essentially you are standing in line. Go ahead and try that now if you would like to. Everyone, please click on the speech bubble icon from the top menu bar on the Lumi platform. And please practice typing in a request to speak in that text box at the bottom of the screen. This is only for practice right now, but I would appreciate you trying it. Your request to speak will be viewed by our moderator, who will review your intention to speak and then present them to me. So I will be able to see you on the screen in front of me. After you type in your request to speak, then you wait in line. If you cannot find the text box to type in your intention to speak, please call our help desk. The phone number is the Synod office number, 803-765-0590. When the chair calls on you to speak, you will then need to raise your hand in Zoom. To raise your hand in Zoom, look at the Zoom panel on the right side of the screen. Look at the bottom for the raise your hand button. You'll then be prompted to start your video and unmute your microphone. Everyone, please practice raising your hand in Zoom now. Go to the Zoom panel on the right side, click on the participant button from the bottom, and then click on the raise hand button. If you do not see the participant button, you might need to click on more and then click on participant. We'll give everyone a minute to find the raise your hand button now. If you cannot find the raise your hand button, please call our help desk and the team is ready to assist you. Everybody finding the button? I see a couple of you on the top of the screen. Anybody want to nod their head at me? No, you can't see it. No, you don't want to nod your head at me.
You can
All
see
right.
that there have been 82 people to raise their hand currently. So out of 167, that's about half. I think we can do better. So again, don't hesitate to raise your hand. This is just for testing purposes, so don't be afraid to do so.
Please try it. Remember that you want to go to the Zoom portion of your screen. On the bottom right, click on participant, and then click on raise your hand button. How are we doing now, Brandon?
You're up to 92.
All right. I'd like to
96,
get over
97,
100.
so they're coming in there. 98, 99, 100.
Excellent job, y'all. Thank you. Raising your hand in Zoom allows our team to find you in the list and to help you unmute yourself so you can use your microphone. But we ask that you please do not raise your hand in Zoom unless you are called upon to speak. So again, once you've gotten in the queue and you're waiting in line to speak, I will call upon you, and then you will raise your hand, and then you'll be prompted to unmute yourself so that you can speak to the assembly. If you raise your hand in Zoom without being called upon, your hand will be lowered and you will be overlooked. And I don't like that feeling at all. We're using the speaker queue for 2 reasons. First, the speaker queue is only available to those of us who have the right to vote and speak. That is why we aren't skipping the queue and just raising our hand in Zoom, because there are some attendees in the Zoom session who could raise their hands but do not have speaking rights at this assembly. Mostly those are folks who work along the Zoom, along behind the scenes, but we just want to make sure we do this properly. Secondly, raising your hand in Zoom doesn't keep you in the order in which you raise your hand. When you enter the speaker queue, we know the order in which you entered that queue. Now that everyone's been able to practice typing their request to speak and raising their hands in Zoom, we're going to clear out the speaker queue. Thank you for trying this method tonight, and I hope that it runs smoothly for all of you tomorrow. If you would like to test your microphone, or if you would like to ask a question, please type that in the speaker queue. We will now address questions from the audience and we'll practice the speaker queue process at the same time. If you'd like to speak now, please type in speak in the speaker queue text box and wait for us to call upon you. Once you are called upon, then you raise your hand in Zoom and you will be prompted to unmute yourself at that time. Please share your name and the name of your congregation or ministry. I recognize Preston Smith.
So Preston, if you will please raise your hand in Zoom, we will find you in the list and then send you a prompt to unmute. And I see your hand is raised. And I see your microphone is unmuted.
Good evening, voting delegates and Bishop Abisher. I think that's an especially attractive shirt you have. I was wondering, where did you get it?
Well, thank you so much for that question. These shirts were produced for this year's assembly, and those who've registered for the assembly on time should have one in their party pack. I'm glad you like the shirt. We think it's particularly fun to have and attractive too. Thank you, Preston. I recognize
Thank
Arthur.
you, Bishop Abisher.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I recognize Arthur Turfa. Arthur, raise your hand in Zoom, and they will prompt you to unmute yourself so that you can speak.
I don't think I remembered how to raise my hand, but I got the cue, so I'm speaking. Interim pastor, Faithful Lutheran Church, West Columbia.
Thank you, Pastor Turfa. Do you have a question?
No, I'm just playing along to help educate everyone else and how to do it. I don't plan to speak tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you for your help tonight. Blessings. All right, I recognize Lynn Jenkinson. Lynn, raise your hand in Zoom so they can find you, and then they will help you unmute yourself so that you may speak.
And we also noticed in the queue that Miss Jenkinson may have trouble finding or raising her hand, so we'll probably send her a prompt to unmute. Just takes us a little bit longer to find her.
Okay, I'm unmuted, but I still can't find my button that says I'm raising my hand.
Okay.
So on the bottom of your Zoom screen, do you see a participant button?
No, I have a share screen. Ooh. Hit more and there's participants. Okay, what do I
Yep.
do here?
So click the participant button. That's going to open up the participant list. Then in your participant list down at the bottom, there's either a raise hand button or there's 3 dots.
Okay, I found it now.
Perfect.
All right, I'll lower my head. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. We look forward to your participation tomorrow as well. I recognize Mark Smith. Mark, raise your hand, please, in Zoom, and then we will have you unmute so that you can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Go.
I'm Mark Smith at Mount Calvary Lutheran Church in Johnston. Just want to invite anybody that needs any peaches to come visit me up in Johnston.
All right. Your bishop loves peaches, but unfortunately she's working this weekend, so she can't come and get any from you in Johnston right now. But thank you for that offer. Thanks, Pastor Smith.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. I recognize Robert Davis. Robert, raise your hand in Zoom, please, and then you can unmute yourself and speak.
We actually see Mr. Davis. So, Mr. Davis, the reason that we muted you, we actually see you in the Zoom meeting twice. So you're probably logged in with 2 different devices. Make sure that you do not have the audio turned on one of those. And then if you can raise your hand on the one that you're going to be speaking from, we'll give it another shot.
That's a great practice for all of us because it has happened to me in the past too.
Mm-hmm. So again, if you're able to raise your hand, the raise your hand button is under the participants button. So in the Zoom meeting down on the bottom right-hand corner, there should be a participant button. And when you open that participant panel, the raise your hand button should then be under that list at the bottom.
Robert?
And there you
Hello?
go.
Excellent.
Hello?
Good
Can you
evening,
hear me?
Robert. I'm hearing you. How are you tonight?
I never saw the raise your hand button. Where did I miss that?
Okay. We'll try that again. That is in your Zoom. If you go to the participants on the bottom of your Zoom screen and you click on participants, you should see a raise your hand button.
Participants. Raise hand.
You got it?
Now I'm good, right? I think so.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
I recognize Kevin Wicker. Good evening, Mr. Wicker. How are you tonight? Would you raise your hand, please?
Hey, good evening.
Good evening.
Let's see if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
You can. Okay. So the question I have is, when someone asks to be recognized and you recognize them and then they speak, is there some way to see that person speaking on our screen? We're always seeing the main screen, Bishop
Yeah.
Jenny.
I know you only
when
get to
these
look at
particular
me.
people are speaking, we're not seeing them.
I
Okay.
understand that. I don't know the answer to that because I'm only seeing myself as well. It's kind of boring. Let's see what Brandon has to say about that.
Yeah, we during the assembly, we'll be a little bit more diligent on spotlighting the person that is actually speaking. So you should see their camera as long as they have their camera turned on. I might also say, Mr. Whitaker, I noticed in yours that your audio is a little bit spotty. So depending on your internet connection, sometimes it's best to leave your video turned off, and it will improve your audio quality substantially, just in case.
Okay. Very
Except
good. Thank you.
he really wanted me to see that gorgeous assembly shirt from just a few years back. Nice witness. Thank you, thank you, Kevin. Good to see you. I have no
Still
one
one
else.
of my favorites. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I hope this year's is a favorite too. I don't see anyone else in the queue, so I hope that you all learned some things from that experience, and I encourage us to move on. There are going to be times
Ms.
when,
Bishop?
yes,
If I may, only because since we wouldn't normally do it, but since we're kind of just giving everybody a shot, I did notice that I think it was Alyssa just had her hand raised. I'm
Okay.
wondering if maybe she wasn't able to find the speaker queue, but maybe she had a question.
okay.
So if you just
Alyssa?
had your hand raised, you want to raise your hand again? I think it was Alyssa. Just caught it out of the corner of my eye.
It's Elsa.
Oh, it was Elsa. Sorry.
Yep.
So Elsa Hope was the person.
All right. Elsa, would you like to speak? There she is. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. So Elsa, you should have a prompt. She may not even be listening to us. Okay. Well, my apologies. Maybe we can move on there.
Okay. Well, Elsa, if you have a question that we have not answered and you still need to ask it, please feel free to call the help desk at the Synod number 803-765-0590. I'm going to go ahead and move on. At times, some of the text can seem small on a Zoom panel. You can make your Zoom full-size screen by clicking the full screen icon at the top of the Zoom bar. This will make Zoom full screen so that you can more easily see the text. And then to exit the Zoom full screen and return to the side-by-side view, you simply press Escape on your computer. Well, we hope that this practice session has answered all of your questions and has given you a chance to practice using this virtual platform so that you feel as comfortable as possible tomorrow. If you feel comfortable using the platform, you can now log off, and we look forward to seeing you at our assembly beginning tomorrow morning at 9. If you would like more practice, please stay on, and we will go through this again exactly the same way. For specific questions that have not yet been answered, please ask, you may ask that in a few minutes when we open up for questions again during our next practice session, or you can call our help desk. That's 803-765-0590. We will be going through this one more time, along with conducting some practice votes and practice speaking from the floor. And again, I thank you for joining us for this orientation tonight, and I look forward to being with you tomorrow morning and throughout the day for the 2021 South Carolina Synod Assembly. Thanks so much for your attention. Good evening. It's good to see some of your familiar faces, and also good to be together with those of you who are joining us for the first time for this orientation session for the 2021 South Carolina Synod Assembly. Congratulations for logging in to the virtual platform and getting to the correct place so that we can work on this orientation together. We're going to go through an introduction of the virtual platform and how you use it. You're going to have opportunities to practice some items, and we hope that you'll take those opportunities and be able to get that under your belt as well. So there are 2 panels. Assuming you signed in on a laptop or a desktop computer, you now have 2 panels visible on your screen. The left side will be referred to as the Lumi panel. The right panel has the Zoom meeting in it. Many of you are used to using Zoom screens. It's where you see and hear the people that are speaking during the meeting. If you do not see the Zoom panel on the right, it may be that it's minimized at the bottom of your screen or to the right side of your screen. Look for a black bar at the bottom of the screen or the right side of the screen that says Zoom, and click on the black bar to open your Zoom panel. You may want to adjust your screen ratio to zoom out, and then you will get a split screen experience. The Lumi panel on the left is where you'll find tools for the business that you need to do during the meeting. We'll now spend a little bit of time with each of these panels. Remember that the Lumi panel is on your left. So let's first talk about the Lumi panel. You're going to use the Lumi panel for 4 things: general information, viewing documents, entering the speaker queue, and voting. The information screen is the first screen you will see when you log in. The information screen is accessed by clicking on the letter I icon to the top bar of the Lumi panel. You'll find information about how to use the platform and perhaps some links to meeting materials or other pertinent information that we will use for this assembly. This will include on the information page links to forms that you might want to use during this assembly. Viewing the documents. Some PDF documents may be available to you. You can view them by clicking on the documents icon on the top bar of the Lumi panel. It's the icon all the way to the right that looks like a sheet of paper. You'll then see a list of documents available to you. Then you select the document that you would like to view and you click on it. You can view it within the platform, or you can download it to your desktop if you wish. So let's practice some voting. If you have voting privileges, and most all of you do, the motion and answer choices will automatically appear before you on the Lumi platform panel on the left side of your screen. To submit your vote, you simply click on your choice and it will be highlighted. You don't need to do anything else. Just click on your choice. There's no send button for this kind of voting. You will see a confirmation message that your vote has been received, just below the title of the motion. Should you wish to change your vote, you simply select a different choice. You may do this as many times as you wish until the vote is closed. At that time, you can't make another vote choice, and only your last choice will be counted. Now let's do a practice vote. Lumi, let's see. You've pulled up, would you try or have you ever tried skydiving? Assembly, are you ready to vote? Vote now, please. Okay, remember that this is just a practice session. So we'd love to have all of you practice voting. So if you would, I'll give you just another second or two to make your vote. It's simple yes or no. Would you try or have you ever tried skydiving? Let's see if we have a couple more votes come in. Okay, Lumi, would you close the voting, please? And let's see the results. Once again, fairly substantial majority have not and would not try skydiving. We've got a safe crowd in this group. Thank you for that voting. Now, everyone with voting privileges should now see the practice vote open on the left screen. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. Let's practice in another election. And I'm going to ask Lumi to please open the practice election now. Everyone with voting privileges should now see the practice election open on the left side of your screen. Same as before, to make your selection, you simply click on your choice and they will be highlighted. So now you have 4 choices and you're asked to pick one. Vote now. Come on, South Carolina Synod, give it a try. I can see the numbers. Just a few more to get a little bit further along. Make sure you're getting a practice in. Your favorite superhero. All right, Lumi, thank you. Can we close the vote? And please, let's see the results. Okay, once again, Wonder Woman wins this one, along with Superman and Batman and Captain America coming in on the bottom. Interesting. All right, thank you. Thank you all for participating. If you must select more than one candidate, you click on all the names that you see and you'll see them highlighted. And then once you've made your selection, you hit the send button at the bottom. If you need to change your ballot, you click cancel and the cancel button is on the bottom. Then you make new selections and you press send or click send again to submit your ballot. So now we're talking about multiple choices, picking 2 of your favorite cartoon characters to be sure that you can work with a multiple selection ballot. I'd love to see everyone participate. Ready, Assembly? Vote now. All right, Lumi, let's close this vote. And can we see the results? Bugs Bunny won out, beat out Snoopy. Snoopy won last time and beat out Bugs Bunny. Go figure. Good voting, you all. Thank you. Now let's move to another section of this practice, and that's the speaker queue. Let's say that you want to ask a question or you want to make a motion or speak from the virtual floor. Normally, at an in-person assembly, you would go to the floor microphone and stand in line. So you might be wondering, how do I do that? How do I speak at this assembly when I can't go to a microphone at the floor? Here's how you do it. In the top menu bar of your Lumi panel, you will see the speaker queue icon in the center. It looks like a double speech bubble. And when you click that icon, there's a list of choices that appear that give you options for what you want to do. These choices include for, against, second, amend, call, point of order, personal privilege, question, or remove. Type that in the text box at the bottom of your screen. You might even have to scroll down a little bit to get to that text box on the bottom of the screen. And then once you type it in, you click the arrow on the right of the text box to submit your request to speak. If you have submitted your request to speak correctly, you will briefly see a pop-up message that says received. You have now entered the speaker queue, and essentially you are standing in line. Go ahead and try that now if you would like to, and I would encourage you to try it. Everyone, please click on the speech bubble icon from the top menu bar on the Lumi panel, and please practice typing in a request to speak in the text box at the bottom of the screen. This is only for practice, so I'd encourage each of you to try it. Okay, have you got it? Excellent. Your request to speak is going to be viewed by our moderator, who will review your intention to speak and then will put your name forward to me. After you type in the request to speak, then you wait in line. If you cannot find the text box to type in your intention to speak, please call our helpline. It's the Synod phone number, 803-765-0590. Now, when I call on your name, you then will need to raise your hand in Zoom. Now, I want to be really clear about this because we learned in the last session that people didn't first put their names into the queue. So you have to first put your name into the queue with in that text box, type that you want to speak, and then raise your hand in Zoom. Look in the Zoom panel on the right side of the screen and look at the bottom of that panel for the raise your hand button. You'll then be prompted to start your video and unmute your microphone. Everyone, please practice raising your hand in Zoom now. Go to the Zoom panel on the right side, click the participant button from the bottom, then click on the raise your hand button. If you do not see the participant button, you might need to click on more, then click on the participant button. We're going to give everyone just a minute to find the raise your hand button and ask you to put that on the screen now. If you can't find your raise the hand button, please call our help desk, 803-765-0590. Raising your hand in Zoom allows our team to find you in the list and unmute your microphone or help you unmute your microphone. But please don't raise your hand in Zoom unless you're called upon to speak. So you'll put yourself in the queue, let us know that you wish to speak. Your name will come forward to me on the screen. I will call upon you as I'm able to in order. Then you will raise your hand so they can find you and prompt you to unmute yourself so that you may speak. You can type your intention to speak on that Lumi side to join the speaker queue and raise your hand on the Zoom side. If you raise your hand in Zoom, without being called upon, your hand will be lowered and you will be overlooked. And none of us wants that. So please raise your hand in Zoom. We're using the speaker queue for two reasons. First, the speaker queue is only available to those who have the right to speak at this assembly. That's why we aren't skipping the queue and just raising our hand in Zoom, because there are some attendees on this on our Zoom screen that are working behind the scenes, and we are not calling upon them to speak. But those of you who have speaking rights, we want to make sure you have every opportunity should you wish to do so. Second, raising your hand in Zoom doesn't keep you in the order in which you raised your hand. When you enter the speaker queue, we know the order in which you entered. Now that everyone has been able to type their request to speak and raise their hands in Zoom, we're going to clear out the speaker queue completely. And if you would like to test your microphone, or if you would like to ask a question, please type that in the speaker queue now. We'll address questions from the virtual audience and we'll practice the speaker queue process at the same time. If you'd like to speak now, please type in the word speak into the speaker queue text box and then wait for me to call upon you. You will be prompted to unmute yourself at that time. When you are called upon, please share your name and your congregation or the ministry that you serve. We're ready to take your questions. I recognize Lexanne Graves, our wonderful Vice President of the South Carolina Synod Council. Lexanne, please raise your hand in Zoom now, and then you will be cued to unmute yourself so that you may speak.
Just a point of order, we are unable to see the full screen of the presentation on the South Carolina Synod ELCA Zoom site, because on the far right side, all of the names are listed there of the attendees. So for example, we can't see the full tally of votes when they come through, and we were unable to see the telephone number to call in for the help desk.
Thank you, Lexanne. That's very helpful to know. Brandon, do you have any recommendations for them for that?
Yeah, Bishop, it sounds like they're probably using a gallery view, is my assumption. If you use speaker view, I believe that will only allow you to see just the South Carolina Synod screen. And I think even if you're watching it participants, I believe it slides that over so that it shouldn't be overlaid. I could be wrong. I'm taking a little bit of a guess on what she's looking at, but that's my assumption.
Okay. Is there any way for us to try that out again so that we can hear from Lexanne if that works?
I can show the results from the previous vote.
Let's try that. I see what she's saying.
So I am on speaker view, Brandon, and I do appreciate that. And I certainly hope that I'm not trying to be a thorn in the process. It may be my laptop. I'm on a Surface Pro, but at this particular time, I am unable to see the tally of votes with the favorite cartoon characters. I can only see the names.
Are you logged in through the Lumi platform? So you're using Lumi on the left and Zoom on the right, or are you logged into Zoom organically?
What?
Are there more like?
Yeah.
Thank you for unmuting me. That is a very good question, Brandon, and I may not be able to technologically answer it. I know that through the email that Wendy Davidson, our assembly manager, sent us,
Right.
that is how I signed in this evening. So I may have done it incorrectly.
No, you probably did it correctly. I just was checking. It sounds like, so you just logged into one place. You didn't log into two different things, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, it may just be, you may be right. It may be something with the Surface Pro. I know I don't work with those a lot. You may try, there's a full screen Zoom button that's if in this, let's see how to best explain this. Starting from the left of your screen in the red bar, you'll see 9 digits. If you continue to go over to the right from that, you should see the word Zoom. And then if you go over to the right from that, you should see what looks like 4 corners of a box. When you click those 4 corners of the box, it should make that Zoom screen full screen. And maybe that'll allow you to see it.
Actually, Brandon, that did work. Thank you very
Awesome.
much.
So now to go back to the side-by-side view so that you can see both again, just simply click in that top bar where it says Zoom. You can click anywhere in that bar and it should snap back over to the split screen view.
Yes, sir, it does. Thank you so much for your assistance.
I'm glad we got it figured out. That's a win-win.
All right. That's great news. Thank you for asking that question, Lexanne. That's really helpful. Are there any others that want to speak or ask a question? If you do, please put speak in your Lumi queue and then raise your hand. All right. I don't think there's anyone else who wants to speak. Brandon, you had
There's
something?
not, but while I did see another question come across a little earlier that I think would be worth mentioning. Someone was asking if they should log out tonight and then log back in the morning. So when we're finished with this Test Your Tech session, we will effectively log everyone out because we will close the platform down. And then, like I say, just follow the same links that you got in with tonight. We'll open the platform up about 45 minutes before 9, so around 8:15 or so in the morning. Please definitely log in early, and then, like I say, just take a break, grab yourself a cup of coffee, and that will enable us to be able to get accurate attendance numbers for the morning for voting.
Excellent. Thank you for that, Brandon. And just let's remind everyone, don't wait until 9 a.m. to log in. Please log in early if you can. All right. At times, some of the text can be small in the Zoom panel, and you can make the Zoom full screen by clicking the full screen icon at the top of your Zoom bar. This will make Zoom full screen so that you can more easily see the text. And then to exit the Zoom full screen, you simply hit Escape. We hope that this practice session has answered your questions and helped you to feel more comfortable and better prepared for the 2021 assembly. If you are feeling comfortable, you should feel free to log out now. We will look forward to seeing each and every one of you at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Remember to log in a little bit early so that you are here and ready to go and so that we can begin to get our counts. If you have any problems in the morning, please feel free to call our help desk. We have several people on standby working as volunteers, and you can reach them by calling 803-765-0590. We pray that you have a great night's rest and that you are looking forward to being with us for the 2021 assembly, where we will boldly go to proclaim the good news of Jesus Christ. Have a great night, everyone.
Awesome. So the platform is now in an informed state. So everything went pretty well. You should see things dropping out of